as a man, I accomplished more than all of them.
Mm.
And I don't say that in a disrespectful way. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. And
but it's just from a numerical and a statistical standpoint.
Take it some kind of way, fuck them. But the reality of it is, none of these dudes accomplished more than me.
Right.
In the music business. Now one of them, I don't care what name you say, accomplished more than me. That's facts. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Puff put on a lot of niggas too.
Man, he one nigga that turned me up, right? Peeping what he was about, and I'll never say nothing negative about Puff.
But he put a lot of niggas on though. A lot of them.
I'm not gonna deprive that he did that.
Yeah.
But
I don't get screaming name because you sold me 9 niggas, so I gotta do it.
I don't think they did more than me. And you can ask him himself. He'll vouch for it. You can ask Jay-Z himself. He'll vouch for it. They ain't accomplished more than me in this music business.
What the hell is Baby talking about?
Well, their Cash Money is responsible for, first of all, putting words in the English dictionary. So that's something that a lot of people haven't accomplished. That might sound small to some people, but to me, that's something they've accomplished. He is responsible, of course, for putting out Cash Money, the Juvie, the Manny Freshes of the world who still produce, who still make music. And at the time, the Hot Boys was the hottest thing on the street. He's also responsible for creating the career and of Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, who grew to be the biggest rapper of at his time when he was doing his thing and was releasing songs at a ridiculous rate. And then, of course, he was part of the creation of Young Money, which brought forth Drake, Nicki Minaj, Tyga. They all have careers now. Whether you want to grade them on whatever level you want to grade them on, they all have careers. He was responsible for that as well, regardless of what his reputation was for not paying artists or not doing this or not doing that. You can't deny his responsibility for the creation of those people. And if you look at it overall, when we talk about hip hop and the accomplishment of hip hop, you know, what he's accomplished is he's changed hip hop. He's responsible for changing hip hop.
Viewing public, if you are pro Birdman, we might be missing some comments. Put it in the comments. Thank you. I'm trying to understand why he may have made that statement, and what you were saying runs parallel with my thought process. Okay, you were saying.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I want to know how you feel when it's compared to Diddy and Jay-Z. Do you feel like that's more than Diddy and Jay-Z have done?
Well, he said, and he was very clear about saying, I've accomplished more in music, because it's very obvious that Jay-Z he left that arena a long time ago. He just steps in once in a while, says hey, and then leaves again. Diddy, when has Diddy even put out anything music? So he was very clear about saying music. And the only thing that comes to mind musically that you just listed for Birdman is everything that Jay-Z and Diddy already did. You know what I mean? So the only thing now, again, and that's measurable, by the way, because you could look at all the artists Birdman put out, you could look at their success and what they've gone on to do, so on and so forth, and same thing with Jay, and same thing with Diddy. So that's measurable. We're not going to do that here, but comments, please. But I remember hearing, and I could be wrong, but I remember hearing that Birdman got like $100 million deal from Universal, and it was this insane deal where it was either like a 60-40 or an 80-20. It was something stupid where Birdman basically made the bulk of the money over the label. That happened. So if he is speaking to that and that alone, I gotta give it to him, because
you got to add that too. There's something else you got to add that I didn't even think about, because at the time when Birdman came out, rappers or artists having their own labels or starting off with their own labels wasn't really a big thing. Like, the only other people that were really doing it were him and Jay-Z at that level at that time, Rockefeller and Cash Money. Those are the two.
But even when artists did it too, the splits were not favorable to the artist. The splits would lean more towards the record label, of course, because why wouldn't it? So that's
right. That's why I could only name Jay-Z and Birdman, because they're the only two that went in with some kind of leverage.
Yeah, so that's a huge accomplishment. But I mean, apart from that, I guess you'd have to say cultural impact. Does the Cash Money imprint have more? Does that leave more of a mark on hip hop than the Rockefeller imprint, than the
people are still calling their jewelry. People are still calling their jewelry their bling. To this very day. To this day. To this day. They're still calling it bling. So where do you think that came from? That came from Cash Money.
Right. So a lot of people would look at his statement and just automatically hate because it's fucking Birdman. And unfortunately, he does have a negative reputation about, like you said, not paying people. And people love Diddy and people love Jay-Z. But when you take out the outside business, Diddy, Ciroc, Revolt, Jay-Z, I'm just not even going to try to list them all, but a lot. When you take all that out and you just leave music, there might be some real validity to what he's saying, whether you like it or not. Please leave it in the comments if we're wrong. Make the case, make the argument. Personally, I want to be wrong. I want Diddy or Jay-Z to clearly stand out. I do. Call me biased, but I do. But he might be right.
Like I said, we could sit here, like you said, we could sit here and we could go over all the accolades that they each had as well. Jay-Z, as far as putting out other artists, he's not on Birdman's level. It's just that one's obvious. That was one of the knocks that Jay-Z had throughout his career, is that he was a great artist, but he could never produce another great artist. So there's that. As far as Diddy, I mean, Diddy had great artists. Diddy had a great run. He had his span. He's had things that he's did. He changed fashion in hip hop for sure, 110%. I will give him that. But if we want to talk about overall cultural impact, it is kind of a battle. But me personally, after thinking about it, I'm gonna have to give it to Birdman. I'm personally gonna have to give it to Birdman. Because you talk about the greatest. If I was to ask you right now, who is the greatest male and female hip hop artist, there's a lot of people who would say Drake and Nicki Minaj, and they're both under one umbrella.
Well, viewing public, what say you? Leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think about this. Big statement, big words. I mean, he's got to follow up with something after his horrible explanation of tonguing Lil Wayne in the mouth. But leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Look,
of course.
DJ Academics, he has his new podcast called Off the Record. He actually sat down with, I would assume, somebody who would, be a fan of his content, Rich the Kid. And it actually didn't go over so well. Let's check this content.
I don't want to hear nobody tell me.
Rich, no, sit down. No. We good. All right, I'll switch it up. Oh my God. Hey, no, you gonna get a blunt. Rich, you gotta stay. You get the blunt. You get it. It's fine. We cool. Hey, Rich. On a serious note, though, and again, if you don't want to respond, it's fine.
Listen, every time Axe says that, it's never serious.
Nope.
I see shit and be like, yo, people, home invasion, this and third. Are you good? We've seen rappers. No, Rich, don't walk off. Come back. Nah, come back, Rich. Come back.
He leave? He left for real?
He walked off. Now, it's important just to provide a little bit of back content to that. Now, Rich the Kid did say in advance prior to the interview that, look, man, there's just certain things that I don't want to talk about. My relationship with Interscope, TMZ things, because that, alluded to what Academics was trying to get to. Academics doing his job, trying to interview the artists, he still asked the questions. But if you have a conversation prior to lights, camera, action, and then the person says, hey, I don't want to talk about these things, and then you bring it up anyways, what do you do as the interviewee? I mean, you could always say no comment, but I feel like it's a sign of disrespect. I told you in advance, I don't want to talk about this, and then you brought it up anyways. And then I was about to leave, and then you told me to sit back down, and you brought it up again. Right. So I think, like, I'll let you spill, but I just want to just point this out. Like, I've sat down with people before and interviewed them, like street dudes, and stuff that I didn't even know about because I don't follow that shit. They'll be like, hey, I don't want to talk about this, like real street shit.
Right.
Am I insane? Would I bring that up? No. One, out of respect. 2 out of I don't want to get shot behind the scenes. So why would I do that? This is what we're talking about, right? He says, I don't want to talk about these things. He brings it up anyways. Naturally, of course, he walks off. So I have 2 questions for you, of course, being an artist. If you were to sit down for an interview and then you have this red tape, yellow tape, whatever you want to call it, don't ask me these questions. And then you get asked that question. How do you respond as an artist?
Okay, let me answer that first.
Well,
Let me answer
okay.
Let me answer that first. So one thing that I'm gonna remember, and Rich the Kid actually didn't do that bad of a job, is at the end of the day, I am a brand and there's money to be made. The way I feel and the way I need to act when I'm on camera are 2 totally different things, right? So I know me personally as an artist, if they were to ask me the questions that I specifically said don't ask, I'm gonna give you a face, I'm gonna give you a look, definitely. And then I'm gonna say, listen, I told you I don't want to speak about this before, man. This is not one of the topics I came here to discuss. If this is what you want to talk about, I can leave. If not, then we can continue the interview. I'm gonna address it straight up and head on and in your face and let people know that you are this type of person. If that's what we want to do, that's what I'm gonna do.
That's
What's
actually,
the second question?
That's a great response. Now, as a media personality, because you want to wear that hat as well.
Right. This is the flip side now.
You also know that people in the internet world, social media world, they want
you
to.
Here for a reason. You came here for a reason.
So now, do you still ask those questions?
I know the questions that the people want to ask. If the artist is somebody who comes to me and is somebody, I got to think long term, right? We got to think long term. Let's say it's for the podcast right here, and an artist comes on and they're a big name, and they interview us and they say there's things that they don't want to talk about. And one of the things that they don't want to talk about is probably the biggest scandal that's going on that has everybody talking about them. And we know that if people click on this thing, that they want to hear that question. Me personally, I'm thinking long-term, I'm thinking business. I'm not asking that question. I'm finding other things to discuss that could be as interesting, if not more interesting, for people to come for that type of discussion. If you want to get that, you want to get the fuckery, you can go somewhere else and get the fuckery. You can come here, you can get some interesting dialogue with an artist that we have on for a different reason. And the reason I'm doing that is simply because I understand how relationships work, how networking works. I don't know, I may offend this one artist and they may be connected to somebody else who's connected to somebody else. And now we're not getting no more guests on this podcast. And I'm not getting any interviews because of what I asked.
So that's a great answer. I mentioned earlier that I've experienced that. And what I told the artist was, I didn't know about that, but if it's something that I did know about and that I wanted to ask, I would let the artist know, like, hey, you know, I also have a brand that I have to protect and that I have to, you know what I mean, put out to the people. And my brand is to ask those difficult questions. I understand that you don't want to have that conversation, but are you okay with me at least asking and then you saying decline or whatever you want to say? Because my audience needs
at least it
to
looked
know
like you attempted. Right.
Exactly. So
that's
and then
smart.
That's
smart.
Yeah, if they're okay with that, then we move on forward. I just think this was really unprofessional of academics, and a lot of people think that he's messy, but there is a genius to his madness. That's why people keep coming back to him. So if he knew that he was going to do this anyways, I don't see why.
You have to understand who you're going to when you're getting interviewed. It's as simple as that. You have to understand what type of interview you're going to. People who go to Vlad, they need to understand what type of interview you're going into. People who go to DJ Academics, they need to understand what type of people who go to Adin Ross. You need to understand what type of interview you're going to be going into. You understand? So just understand the interviewer. It's as much as it's the interviewer's job to research the person that they're about to interview. It's also that person's job to research the person they're about to be interviewed by.
Well, viewing public, I want to know what your thoughts are. I did not watch the entire clip because I'm just not interested. I don't think DJ Academics is a good interviewer. I think
there was a lot of dead silence, but yo, that boy's set is money.
Dope. Yeah,
that boy's set is money.
I think
his dialogue is
trash.
Primitive.
I think he's a great like vlogger, and you know, like when he's just talking, I'm entertained, but interviewing, horrible. But that's my thoughts. What are yours? Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Look, the Emmys was recent. A lot of black faces nominated.
The Emmys. Which one is that again? What is that award show for? Which one is that? The TVs?
TV stuff.
The TVs?
Yeah.
This one is for like the TV movies, you know?
Yeah,
I like that one.
It's
okay, that's the Emmys. Okay, I like that one. Okay.
Well, Snoop Dogg had a couple things to say about that. Let's check that out. So if you could see the screen, which of course you could see Snoop Dogg posted a lot of the nominees for an Emmy. And unless you're colorblind, you could probably notice a similarity of all the faces that you see there. And then Snoop Dogg captions his post and said, "Then you wonder why I say fuck these bullshit ass award shows. They not for us. Emmy, these nuts in your mouth." All these nominations, not one win. Who do we got here? Look, we got Michael K. Williams, R.I.P. We got Dave Chappelle. We got the nigga that was born
Morgan Freeman. The voice of God himself.
Kevin Hart. We got
that is not Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis Ross that did not win. That is not Don Cheadle that I am seeing on there.
I believe Kevin this is Issa Rae.
Is on there.
I believe this is Issa Rae. What's the homie's name from Green Book? He's here.
Don Cheadle.
No, Don Cheadle wasn't in Green Book.
That's Don Cheadle that you have.
Is that Don Cheadle? Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. But again, another amazing talent.
You know why? You know why I know who that is? Because my whole life, people have been like, "Yo, is that your dad? Is that your dad?" I don't know why. Did you just double tap it after I said that too?
Yep, I did. But
you are disrespectful.
The point is we have so much amazing talent here. And not one. So anyways, the reason why I wanted to quickly talk about this is
Keke Palmer. Oh my God. Wow.
Is because you have to say to yourself, right? When you get an award is something that's earned. It's earned, right? So are you supposed to just get an award just because you feel like it should be given? Because if not, you're gonna be looked at a certain way. Like I don't want a pity award because I'm black. You understand what I'm saying? Like if my work clearly stood above the rest, then yes, I feel like I deserve that. But if somebody outperformed me, okay, cool. I'll try to get him next time. But Snoop Dogg's response, and a lot of people would of course feel this way, is really not one out of all the awards you handed out that night, not one. And then a logical person will say, okay, well, the odds are at least one would have to slide in. So maybe it is racial. But I'm just saying, I don't want a pity award. If it's something undeniable, where I outperformed, then yes, I deserve it. But if not, if I got outperformed, we'll go back next year.
You know what's crazy? And you know what's crazy in the statement that you made? Well, first of all, my boy from This Is Us is the very first picture. And listen, I don't know what he got nominated for, but if he didn't win, that man has made me cry more times than I could even count with his performances and his relationship with his family and his father on that show, man. He is incredible. I don't know what the award he was nominated for was, but if he's not winning, we got a real problem. But let me tell you what my bigger issue is with this. And in fact, you highlighted it in the statement that you made. We've gotten to a point in our award system, and this is how ridiculous awards are and why we shouldn't really count them for anything, because really they're based on people's opinions, and these people are subjective. Like they don't matter. They don't matter in the overall outcome of your finances or anything like that. But with that being said, you have to sit back and say to yourself, when we start talking about Black people getting awards and when they win it, we have to question if it's a pity award or if it's actually valid. That's what literally it's come down to, unless we're talking about an award show where it's mainly Black people. We are at a point now where when the Black person wins, we're like, oh, they're just winning it because they're Black. That's the natural occurrence because we feel like these award shows have not been awarding us for so long, but yet still we place so much importance. And I'm not talking about these actors in these pictures. I'm talking about us as fans, us as the people sitting home watching it. For some reason, we place so much importance on these awards that we have totally fucked up the whole game for people with melanin in the game, and we don't even realize it.
Well,
if we stop paying less attention to these award ceremonies and their importance, and started paying more attention to the box office and actually supporting and watching these TV shows and being a part of this thing and actually trying to support our people, maybe we would come to a place where the numbers, instead of the awards, would allow these actors and everybody to be rewarded properly in the way that they should be. But unfortunately, we live in a world where, you know, if you black and you not rich and you ain't made it, you can't be happy for the nigga that made it already, because that's not you. And they did something, or they must have done something crazy, or da 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 da. And I can't really, why do I need to go out and support them? They already got money. They already have money. I don't need to go out and support them. Your mentality is fucked up. You need to wake up and understand how we could really help ourselves. Bigger issue.
Well, viewing public, what are your thoughts here? At the end of the day, never really a fan of award shows any damn way. I don't watch them. They're too long. But leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Shout out Snoop Dogg. He to go. Deuces. Okay, so Colorado man accused of sex with a horse escapes jail, takes cop on a short pursuit in nearby river. Now, on Tuesday, jail officials discovered Barrett missing from the recreation yard where he had been alone for some time before his escape. Surveillance footage shows him climbing over a wall, then using a hole in a fenced area to escape jail guards. Now, this nigga is Andy Dufresne. Now, the nigga from Shawshank Redemption. And this, I'm dead ass, man. Look at the picture. This nigga is Andy Dufresne. Like, remember when he escaped jail and he had his hands up in the sky with the rain coming down? This nigga is Andy Dufresne. But of course, when they apprehended him, he got another charge added on. But I mean,
right.
But I have to, I guess, like the bigger picture here, and really, it's not what you think. I don't care to have the conversation about him having sex with a horse, but how realistic is it?
But how do you have sex with a horse? That's
no. How realistic is it? I'm serious. How realistic is it to actually escape jail?
What do you mean? How realistic is it? It happens. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's happened.
No, nigga,
before.
You wanted to say of course it's happened before. We just talked about it. You wanted to say it's happened all the time. I guess what I'm trying to say here, is because people, well, they go to jail all the time. I myself know many people that has been in jail, served their entire sentence, and by all accounts, never tried to escape once, and never even popped into their head.
That's horrible that you have so many criminal friends.
Family, really. But what I'm saying though is when you get locked up, or if you got locked up, right, are you thinking about trying to escape? Are you on the yard, like looking for holes in the fence? Like, are you trying to figure this out, or are you just here? Fuck it, I'm gonna just be here, do what I got to do, and then make it on the way out. Like, how realistic is this?
I mean, me personally, I have never ever been arrested or ever in trouble with the law. But if I was, locked up for any period of time, it depends on how long I'm in there. I don't know if I'm in there for a short period of time, because I know that just being in a room with nothing to do for a short period of time is like, I go insane. Me personally, I know I would go nuts. So having to sit somewhere for days or weeks or months at a time, I would be going absolutely nuts. But with that being said, I would never be on my prison break mindset where I'm gonna, follow the tattoos and make guns out of soap and all of these type of things that I've seen in that. It's a great show to watch. Don't get it twisted. I love watching Prison Break. Will I ever try to reenact any of the things that he did in that show? No, because I know in the real world, if my ass gets caught, then my ass gonna get caught. Nah, you understand?
Viewing public, I want to know what your thoughts is. The man escaped. He just got caught. He escaped, though. He just got caught. So it's actually a possibility. The question I pose to you is, you get locked, you're doing some years, you had sex with a horse. Are you just facing the music, the sad horse loving music, or are you trying to break out? Don't forget to like and subscribe.
My answer is, I say nay.
I knew that was coming. We all love Kim Kardashian. We think
Oh, yes, we do.
we think she's
We do.
super talented. She's multi-talented. She has a great
She
singing
definitely has
voice.
talents. She has talents.
She's extremely funny. She knows how to act. Apparently, she's a lawyer. She designs clothes.
Okay, yeah,
Medical scientist. She has a lot of credentials. Now, one of these things that I mentioned earlier, which is very funny, knows how to act. She is implementing this skill into hosting SNL. Saturday Night Live, a comedy sketch show. I want to put emphasis on the word comedy to make you laugh. Now, I am no stranger of keeping up with the Kardashians. I've never actually laughed at anything she said. I've laughed at her, but I've never actually laughed at a joke or anything like that. So I want to know if I'm the only one out here, because when I seen that headline, I said, why? But then I was reassured in my concern. Deborah Messing, the girl from Will and Grace with the red curly hair, she's trying to understand why Kim Kardashian is actually hosting SNL, and she put out a tweet, and I want to read it for you guys here. She says, "Why Kim Kardashian? I mean, I know she's a cultural icon, but SNL hosts generally are performers who are there to promote a film, TV show, or album launch. Am I missing something?" So if you are in charge of hiring, casting the host for the SNL program, this is going to sound like a weird question, but not really. It's business. Do you bring on Kim K? If yes, why? If not, why not?
You as a man sitting there talking to me right now, I can ask you this question. Do you find Kim Kardashian attractive?
No.
Okay. Well, for all the men that do, all the men with eyes that do find Kim Kardashian attractive, just having her on a show is going to attract a male audience that probably wouldn't watch that show otherwise. On top of that, it's also going to attract a female audience because she has a large female following that actually follow her on a daily basis, and makeup tips and skin tips and all the tips that she does, the frosted tips, every tip. So they follow her too. So having her on a show for SNL, I feel, is less about, okay, let's get a comedian, let's get an actor. Because to say she's not a performer is a lie. She has a movie out. We've all seen it. We know the movie. We've seen it. She has a movie. She has credits. So there's a performer. Where you want to define as performing is up to you. Your performing can be vertical or it can be horizontal. It's up to you. It's your choice. But she made a decision and she made it through the whole movie. Okay? So let's not take performer away from her. They want to have her on the show so people come and watch. It's as simple as that.
So the reason why Deborah and any other returning viewer of SNL would take issue with this is because SNL is very particular in the talent they hire. In fact, they were facing a lot of backlash because they didn't have enough Black people on the show. And their response was, we got nothing against Black people. It's really just about, are you funny enough? So even amidst that backlash, they didn't go out and hire a bunch of niggas. They are very particular on who they bring on that show. If you're not funny, it's not happening. So that's why, although all the points you make sense, Kim Kardashian isn't funny. So unless hold on for a second.
Know that.
Well, yeah, I do, because I said I just watched pretty much every season of that show. She's not funny. So what I'm trying to say to you is, unless they're bringing her on the show to be a participating punching bag, because Kim does carry a certain stereotype, maybe a little airheadish, fashion, sex tape. So unless she is in on the joke and they're making jokes about, the public persona of her, then it could work and work really well. But if they have her playing just different characters or trying to do a monologue, this is going to be a train wreck. If she's a participating, willing, signed up to be a punching bag, which could work, because if you have memes out there about you, memes are funny. Right. And you're okay.
Justin Bieber did that. When Justin Bieber was being criticized, he did that comedy roast about himself.
There you go. If you can do that, it could work really well. But if they're just trying to bring her up there to be, hey, we think you're funny, don't tell her. It's going to be a train wreck. But
this is going to be the Floyd Mayweather of SNL because people watch. Why do people watch Mayweather fights? They watch it to see if Floyd Mayweather gets knocked out. So this is in comparison what this SNL is going to be. Either way, people are going to watch it though.
Well, SNL, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. I think your comedy is hilarious. I think you guys are very, very funny. Let's hope you know what you're doing here. Viewing public, what are your thoughts? Is this a good or a bad move? Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. More importantly, put it in the comments. Deuces. I like The Weeknd, not Friday and Saturday, although. Love Friday and Saturday. I guess we could throw Sunday in there too. Sunday's kind of like that restart button, but still.
What was that song? By that girl Rebecca Black. Rebecca Black was her name. Put everyone getting down on Friday. Was this song? Was it something like that?
I don't know
why that came to my head, man. I don't know why that came. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
No. It makes sense. The Weeknd is being sued for allegedly stealing his 2018 hit "Call Out My Name." Sonal Fox and Henry Strange of the group Epicure filed a lawsuit on September 17th in California federal court. They claimed that the Canadian Grammy Award-winning singer and his collaborators, Nicholas Jarre and Frank Dukes, shout out Frank Dukes, plagiarized their 2015 record, Vibe King, for his 2018 single from his My Dear Melancholy EP. Now, this is what their quote is. Just gonna tell The Weeknd that our production team wrote the track. The two claimed PNDA wrote to them. Strange claims that he replied. So The Weeknd, or at least somebody on his team, actually replied to PNDA, insisting that The Weeknd knew who they were and that the two had met during the Drake tour. Now, the duo is suing. So basically, they're trying to say, Weeknd, you can't plead ignorance on this. You communicated back to us. So the duo is suing for the proceeds from Call Out My Name and all legal fees. In addition, they want a judge to ban The Weeknd from performing the song until the case is resolved. So look here, this to me this is genius on the suing, like the people suing on their part. They're suing for legal fees, so they can drag this as long as they want, as long as they can drag it. Because if they win, they're gonna, it's incorporated.
As long as they win, right?
As long as they win, of course. The other thing, what's genius about this too, and what will suck if they don't win, but even if they don't win, I had no idea who these people were. I know who they are now.
That's a solid point.
So it's free publicity.
So you think that they're doing this for publicity? Like you don't think that they have a chance of winning, or you're just saying?
Well, the reality is I haven't heard their version of the song. Like I haven't heard it. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to compare it to. And viewing public, you might be like, well, why didn't you listen? Well, my answer is I don't care that much. My interest in the story is more about like the strategy behind it, because we see this far too often, people suing celebrities and then you'd never hear anything. You'd never hear the outcome, but the person suing the celebrity, now they're a name. So I'm thinking this was the ultimate goal. But like when we talk legal fees, what happens then? Like we know this is why I don't fuck with lawyers. But go ahead, Mr. Legal.
Will Smith was on I don't know. There was something with Will Smith where he was talking about being famous and people suing you. Did you hear about this?
No.
So Will Smith said that he gets sued on average 15 times per year.
Sounds right.
15 times per year. I want y'all to think about how long this man has been famous. 15 and on average. Now hold
on. Can I just point out one very obvious thing?
Yeah.
There's 12 months in a year. So that's definitely more than once a month. Go ahead.
Exactly. So these guys are getting sued on a regular basis. You literally, once you become famous, have to get a lawyer and put lawyers, plural, some depending on how famous you are, on retainer and pay them just to deal with these cases. It's insane the amount of money that these artists probably have to pay in legal fees per year. I can't even fathom it. I can't take it in because it's insane. This type of lawsuit, I'm not sure if these guys knew each other or what the relation is or anything like this.
Well, they're saying
the song is incredibly old.
Yeah,
I do know that. I do know it's been out for a while. I know there's no statute of limitations on any of this, but usually when it takes like I always say, with any case in any situation, when it takes somebody a long time to come out and say something, aside from, because I know some women go and watch this, aside from sexual abuse and those type of things, I'm not talking about that. We're talking about music. When it takes people a long time to come out, there's usually a secondary motivation.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to prove that there isn't a secondary motivation, because my first question as a lawyer to you is, why did it take you so long to come forward with this? Especially if you're suing for legal fees. It wasn't financial. So
well, look,
call out his name.
Well, I said what I said, and I said it for a reason. And you kind of backed up the point about how often Will Smith gets sued, right? Mm-hmm. So a celebrity is a moving target, especially in the music business. Like, I think we've even done other videos about it before. I don't think this, I don't like, and by the way, viewing public, I want to say that we're going to keep you up to date with this, but here's what's going to happen. Like all these other cases, we're just not going to hear anything about it anymore. This will be the only time we hear
there's
about
going to be no update, unless there's very few things where there's even an update required.
So I want to know what your thoughts are. I mean, if you've heard both records before, leave it in the comments. Are they similar? Does this writing group, do they have a case? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Big fan of the weekend.
If you have a link to this original song that these guys are talking about, please, I'm hoping somebody that watches this got to this point, put it in the comments, please.
Thank you. Whack 100, again, I'm telling you, piece of shit or genius, I don't know, but Whack 100 appears to confirm he's sending Kanye West Kim's unreleased sex tape with Ray J. So he did a post on his Instagram and he captioned it, "Great convo. My word is good. I'll get it right to you, bro. Like I said I would. I appreciate you. I appreciate your call. Good hearing from you." So what he's alluding to, obviously, is that he actually spoke with Kanye, and Kanye West wants this tape. Now, I mean, there's so many directions we can go here, but I'm going to go in the one direction that piques my interest.
Okay.
Why do you want this tape? Now, I'll quickly respond. I have two responses. First response is, if I have it, nobody else has it, and I could protect my wife's privacy or ex-wife's privacy, whatever. So there's that. The second response is, I'm a sick man, and I enjoyed watching my wife get banged out by Ray J so much. I want to see it some more. So those are the only two reasons I could see Kanye West wanting this tape.
There's a whole category on Pornhub full of men like that. So that is possible as well, who like to watch their wife getting banged out. So and to be clear, I'm not saying that the latter. I'm not saying that's Kanye West think. I'm just trying to understand why he would want this. But what do you think? I'll be honest with you. It's hard for me to believe Whack 100, and it's not even because of Whack 100. It's because of Kanye. Kanye is not a silent man. I've never known Kanye to be the silent, the quiet, the silent, quiet type. I don't even know what words I'm looking for. But anyways, he usually is on Twitter. He's on something, saying something out loud, right? So the fact that I haven't heard anything from him makes me kind of skeptical about this. Is Whack 100 a genius? No, he named himself Whack 100. Whack has never been a good word. It usually means that you're playing with yourself or that you're not cool.
Or it means you've killed someone. That's mob shit. Get that.
Or you whacked somebody.
Yeah.
Cool. It depends on how you look at it. All the things are dumb though. All of them. So I don't know if I could trust this guy. I mean, he's done a lot of things recently that made me question his whole demeanor, his whole persona, just who he is as a man. So I don't know how to feel about this, man. I don't believe it. I believe this is for more clout. Everything else.
Well, viewing public, if it is for more clout, it's working like a fucking charm. But Kanye West, if this is true and you get your hands on this tape, I would have to know what makes you think Whack doesn't have a copy somewhere underneath his mattress. Naturally,
if Kanye gets this and he gets into his petty mode, we may see this up for sale.
There you go. And
Get your crypto up.
And naturally, of course, even if Kanye gets it, of course, he's smart enough to make sure Wack signs a whole bunch of shit. But hey, man, if it gets leaked, it gets leaked. If Wack gets fined, it's still out there. You can't, once it's out there, it's out there. But hey, my guy thinks that this, Wack don't even have it. He's just talking shit, which is very possible. I'm on the flip side. I think he does have it. Whether or not he had a conversation with Kanye West, we'll leave that up to you guys to decide. Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Get your lotion ready. It's coming. All right. So I didn't think it was gonna happen, but apparently it is. So Tyrone Woodley getting the Jake Paul tattoo this weekend.
Tyron?
Yeah, it is Tyron. Why did I say Tyrone? Okay, Tyron Woodley.
Because you were thinking about Erykah Badu.
That's very, very possible. But
think you better call Tyrone.
So Mr.
No, you're supposed to say call him.
Call him.
All right, whatever.
But no, but this is the part that I don't understand. When we did the original video, we were kind of on the fence with this. I said that he should get the tattoo so we can get the bag for the fight afterwards. You can always have it erased. But deep down inside, I really didn't think he's going to do it. My man said he's going to do it. Woodley says he's finally getting the tat on Saturday because it's the solid thing to do. So it sounds like it's for sure happening, even if a Jake rematch isn't in the card. So hold up for a second. I thought the agreement... Yeah, I thought the agreement was I'll get this tattoo if there's a rematch.
Wait a minute.
So what if the nigga does get the tattoo and Jake Paul doesn't fight?
What is wrong with this nigga? What is wrong with this nigga? Listen, Tyron, it's cool if you want to think that in your head, but nigga, don't say that shit out loud. What is wrong with you? You never say whether or you don't give that man the option. He already gave you the option. He gave it to you. You accepted it. Move forward. Now you gave him an out to this fight. You can now get this tattoo. He could say, I don't want to fight it. I don't want to fight no more. And it's your fault because you said this. What is wrong with this nigga?
First of all,
I'm so bad. I want to see Jake Paul get knocked the fuck out. Come on.
First of all, why are you getting the tattoo in the first place? Again, in the previous video, I gave the whole blueprint.
Exactly.
Get the tattoo.
You gave the reason why getting the tattoo is not a big deal.
But I'm taking the shit back now because you should not be tattooing another man on you unless it's like your dad or some shit like that. That's different. You know what I'm saying? But like, this is a nigga that you fought. Y'all don't share the same blood. Y'all don't even y'all don't go to the cookout together. You have nothing in common. And you want to get I love Jake Paul tatted on you? That to me is not even a good business idea because all that is telling people in the future that want to do business with you is they could pimp the fuck out of you. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like that. Now, second of all, what if you do get the tattoo? And then you're like, I'll just erase it after. But say you get it. Put it out there. Because once you put it out there, right? It's out there forever. Even if you do get it scrubbed. It happened now. So say you get the tattoo. You go in the fight and he fucks you up even more. Then what?
Those are major L's. Those are major L's. This man's going to be eating alphagetti soup all day and having to take out the L's.
This nigga better be on steroids that day because losing now, no bueno.
I want you to think about what this man listen, somebody must have knocked this man's rocker out in MMA. Now I see why he's no longer part of MMA, man, because somebody knocked the common sense out of this guy. For him to put out the word himself, first of all, that he's going to get this tattoo, right? That's one. Then it doesn't matter whether or not we fight, 2. And then 3, with no agreement in place, no deal, no talk, just like this was a handshake deal, which I don't know if you guys know about the YouTube world, but handshake deals don't mean jack squat. They mean absolutely nothing. A handshake deal, you might as well just high five somebody. It's the same thing. All right, man. So we're gonna do it. You want to do the deal? All right, let's do it, man. Cool.
High five.
Cool. And then you walk away. It's not gonna happen.
Oh yeah, and by the way, you just did the handshake deal with Jake Paul.
Exactly.
Real credible. Viewing public, I want to know what your thoughts are on this. You want to see the fight? Sure you do. Would you get the tattoo? I hope the answer is no, but maybe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Deuces.
Depends on the bag. Depends on the bag. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all about the bag.
Hey,
I
buy myself a new arm with no tattoo on it if I feel made out of titanium if the bag's good enough.
I want to know why you're interested in seeing the Tiger King 2, because it's coming to Netflix this year. Why do you want to see that?
Woo! Well, this isn't just about me. This is about anybody who's into really like true crime. There's a whole true crime slate coming to Netflix apparently this year, and part of it is going to involve a Tiger King Part 2. And listen, I don't know who watched Tiger King, the original one, and who didn't. I did. It was so entertaining. And it's one of those things where no matter how horrible your life is, it's always good to know that somebody's life is worse. and that they're willing to film it. You know what I mean? So I believe that's why people got into Tiger King so much, is because this guy's life was a train wreck. It was a disaster. And it was great on all aspects. You involve the gay community. You involve the animal rights activists. You involve people who like mullets. You involve the hillbillies, which of course you bring the hillbillies and the mullets, you are gonna get the black people laughing and watching. That's how you draw. If you really want to listen, white people, if you really want to draw some black people into your TV show, put some dumbass hillbillies on. How you think Duck Dynasty did so well? How do you think Duck Dynasty did so well? Okay, I'm excited. In case you can't tell, this is coming back. Of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tiger King himself. I don't even remember his real name. Who cares? He's still in jail. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but I do know that one of my favorites, and I will never forget her name because it's also one of my favorite ice creams, Miss Carol Baskin, is a free woman, still nuts, still crazy, probably has her own cult now for tiger lovers. I cannot wait to see what this is about. I cannot wait because Netflix always finds a way to find a story where there's no damn story. What's the story?
Well, I'll tell you this. I haven't seen the first one.
You got to watch it, my brother.
I'm sold. I'll watch the first one, and then pending on the reaction from that, I might take in part 2. But viewing public, my guy brings up a great
no brain cells necessary. It's one of those shows. So if you want to just just tune out from the exact world and watch nothingness, this is the perfect show for you.
I want to know what your thoughts are. What do you think the concept is? Because according to my guy, they got nothing. But Netflix is great at making something from something, leave nothing. You gotta have something. I want to know what your thoughts are. Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Did you hear about there was apparently a show though. There was apparently a show with Nicolas Cage was gonna star in it about the guy's life, and it got canceled because they said it just wasn't interesting enough.
Or was it just Nicolas Cage because he's fucking psycho?
I mean, it's a little from column A, a little from column B.
I would have
Cage, there's probably a column C.
I would have to think so. R. Kelly's defense in his sex trafficking trial did not go too well. My understanding is he didn't even want to testify. So R. Kelly,
move he could have made. That's a smart move, actually.
If there's one thing about R. Kelly, he may traffic underage women. He may shit on them and any other depraved thing you could think of, but he ain't no snitch. Go ahead.
This is a trial that's very interesting. Now, to put in contrast before I start off, the prosecution's case was over 4 weeks. They had 40 witnesses, and of those 40 witnesses, 11 of them were actual accusers, had actually been sexually assaulted by Mr. Kelly. I'm going to call him Mr. Kelly because I no longer have respect for him as a man, and I'm going to show it by not giving him his artist name. So, Mr. Kelly, you are a regular citizen now, so I will speak to you as such. You brought 5 witnesses forth in your case. Well, your defense brought forth 5 witnesses compared to the 40 that the prosecution had. Great start. Let's start off with the first witness. His name is Mr. Larry Hood. Now, Mr. Larry Hood is a former police officer and longtime friend of Mr. Kelly. Now, we all know we can trust police officers, right? This guy knows. We can trust police officers, right?
Some of them.
Of course. So he testified on Monday, and he testified that he had never, ever, he'd never seen Mr. Kelly with an underage female. He then went on to later testify that he had met Aaliyah when she was with Mr. Kelly. And of course, when she was with Mr. Kelly, she was 15 years old. He also testified that he knew one of the other accusers of Mr. Kelly, who, of course, when he knew her, was underage. But not only did he know that she was underage, but under testimony, he called her one of the young ladies. One of the young ladies. Okay, he'd never seen her with underage girls. Great start. Let's move on from there, because when you start off like that, you know you got to go to something better, right? So number two is Mr. Dane Ramnanan. I don't care if I'm saying it right or wrong. And you know why I don't care. He testified also on Monday, and he testified that he had been around Mr. Kelly for 15 years. And when I say around Mr. Kelly, he means that he was like his right-hand man. He was his Tommy. He was the Tommy to Mr. Kelly's ghost. Okay, that's what he made it sound like. And he had never ever seen Mr. Kelly hit a woman or be anywhere abusive towards women. And he had been on every tour with Mr. Kelly. So a lot of things happened during the tour. So this was great. This is great news. They then asked him which tours he had been on. He couldn't name any of them. They then showed him a few photos. Yeah, that's a great start, right? They then showed him 3 photos of Mr. Kelly on various tour buses with women and his friends, Mr. Kelly's friends. And then asked Mr. Ramnanan, Mr. Bam Bam Ding-a-ling Ding Dong, to point himself out in the photos. Can we see where you are? Because apparently you were always there. You were always around. So just point out where you were. And of course, he couldn't find himself because he wasn't there. This is witness number 2, ladies and gentlemen. This is R. Kelly's defense so far. And we're only just past Monday. So Tuesday, a Mr. Jeff Meeks comes forward, and Mr. Meeks testified that he had worked with Mr. Kelly from 2002 until 2019. And he said that he had never seen Mr. Kelly with any underage girls, nor had he seen any girls that were locked up in any of these apparent rooms. He later went on to testify that he saw a girl once leaving R. Kelly's studio and said that he felt relieved that she got to leave, that she made it out. When she was escaping from the studio room, from the actual room, and was running by these guys, people recalled him saying, "Oh shit, what do we do?" Sounds very innocent, very, very, nonchalant, nothing. You knew that nothing was going on in the studio. And by asking, "What do we do?" you meant like, do we get her sandwiches? Or you think she would want a beverage at this time? She looked parched. You know, she looked a little tired. Maybe we should find some Gatorade. Get her some electrolytes. You're an asshole. Let's move on. The last 2 witnesses gave their testimony. Okay, this is going to move super fast, guys, because they were also unimportant and ineffective in Mr. Kelly's defense. Julius Darrington, who testified that he had never seen Mr. Kelly get physical with women or lock them up, also went on to quickly say that he had never spent any time privately with Mr. Kelly. So he had never been in any of the private situations with Mr. Kelly that he had been in. They'd all been public. And when I say public, I mean meet and greets, concerts, on stage, and parties. So there you go. That's another witness that they had. The last one, an accountant. Here we go. The guy who's got the numbers is the guy you can trust, right?
Of course.
The guy who's got the numbers is the guy you can trust. Mr. John Holder said, of course, like everybody else, he'd never seen Mr. Kelly abuse his girlfriends. He then also went on to say, but you know what? Most of the time, we weren't in the same room. So for everybody that's watching this, and I want to speak specifically to the men. Because we've put up numerous Kelly videos. And I'm sorry, I'm spieling for this whole video. This guy knows how I feel about this topic. I love the music, but this topic really bothers me. So for all the men that are watching this that were in our comments defending Mr. Kelly early on in this thing when we had a video that did super well. Thank you to everybody that watched that video. Link that one for sure. What are you thinking now that you've heard his defense and everything like that? Are you still want to come with this defense and say it's up to God to decide, and it's up to the Lord to decide, and really just deflect this and make it strictly about religion when it's not? It's about women who got abused and raped. It has nothing to do with God. So stop making it about that. We leave God's decision up to God. Isn't that how it works? Let me ask this guy. Isn't that how it's supposed to work? We're supposed to leave God's decisions up to God and not make the decisions for him. Isn't that how it works? Please.
Yeah, I mean, when Kelly goes, he's gonna have to answer to God, of course.
Right. We're not the ones who determine what God is going to determine, right? It's up to God.
Of course.
Okay, so then when we want to bring that up, it's kind of irrelevant because we really don't have a say, is what I'm getting from that. Okay,
no,
cool.
100%.
Okay, cool. So the fact that you want to bring that up to me is disgusting. It's you deflecting. I wonder what your intentions are, what your mindset is. Any man that wants to defend R. Kelly at this point, you have to look at yourself, really just look at yourself and learn to separate the man from the music. Okay, learn to separate the man from the music. I get it, but understand that the music came from this man and the music was motivated by these things.
Well, if I could chime in just for a brief second.
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, that's the reaction that everybody else is when you hear his defense. But like I said, I'm not surprised. I assumed that a disgusting person would have a disgusting defense. And, I'll be popping bottles and celebrating a bit later on. Viewing public, what are your thoughts?
Hey, would it be wrong if Mr. Kelly got convicted and I chose to celebrate while dancing two-step in the name of love?
No.
Would that be wrong?
I will join you.
It feels so right. Is it wrong when it feels so right?
Stay tuned in for that episode. Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh, yo, thanks for watching that video, making it all the way to the end. You made it this far, you have to like. Please subscribe and comment on the video as well. Join the conversation.
Absolutely. We finally hit our goal of 500 subscribers. Yes, we are trying to get to 1,000. And we can only do that with your help. You can start by watching that next video. You see that tiny little icon? Click on that icon, rinse and repeat. Deuces.